Hey guys, it's Ikenna again from Smiling Sun. Everything solar installation, everything inverter installation, everything going green. How is everybody today? You're welcome as usual. Now look at this. This happens to be the most neglected part of your solar installation component. Why are you gonna go and do a solar installation without an MC4 connector? This plays a very important role in stringing together your PV arrays in strings of series and strings of parallel. But most installers I've discovered do not use the MC4 connector, and it ends up causing a whole lot of problems. Well, maybe because of the price. Why should I pay for an MC4 connector when I can join the wires manually? I can afford to do without the MC4 connector. But hey, neglect or do not use the MC4 connector at your own peril, and you will find out the much wonders you can do with your MC4 connectors. If you stay around, I'll be right back. Yo, welcome back. Is this your very first time or have you been coming around? You know it's always a pleasure to have you around, all right? And if this is your first time, with all my heart I say to you, welcome on board. Take your time to subscribe, all right? Nobody's ever going to tell you anymore what's going on in the world of solar technology. And don't forget to click on the bell icon. So as soon as there's a fresh and brand new videos, you'll be notified real quick on your YouTube timeline. You're welcome. Why has this become the most neglected solar installation component? I do not know why, because this particular component, which is called the MC4 connector, is so very important. It's something you should never neglect. It's something you should never do your installation without it. So I've noticed that some installers do not use the MC4 connectors in stringing together their solar panel connections. All right, so what they essentially do is they just cut it off and cut off the connectors on the ends of the solar panel, and they just pretty much join the wires together manually. And the thinking is, why would I use the MC4 connector when I can afford to do without it, do my wirings, join the wires manually, and save myself some money on the MC4 connector? But when you do that, you can actually save the cost, but it's going to be a whole lot of pain for the homeowner of the company or wherever you did the installation for, because this plays a very important role. So what happens is that when you join these wires manually, what essentially happens is, because you have a whole lot of connections going on, you have the connections in strings of series, you have the connections in strings of parallel, there's a whole lot of connections going on. Sometimes you might not tighten those wires as much as you should. It's not even advisable for you to be joining the wires manually. So when they join these wires manually, sometimes it's done haphazardly, all right? It's not joined properly, and it begins to heat up. So if it's heating up, you're going to be losing a whole lot of energy at those joints. And sometimes after joining these wires manually and you do not use your MC4 connectors, the joinings that you have done could untie. All right, that's why sometimes you find out that you could have 5 kilowatt installation of solar panels on your roof, but it's not really giving you as much as you think. Some people barely hit 2 kilowatts. But what happens is that some of the strings of the series connections that you've done on the roof on the solar panels are no longer supplying, because the wires that you joined manually have disentangled. All right, it's no longer supplying the energy. That's why you should never do without the MC4 connector, because essentially when the MC4 connectors lock just this way, once it locks, it's permanent. Don't forget the fact that when you're doing a solar installation, it's not going to be there for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, or even 5 days. It stays for months. It stays for years. Some people don't even bring down their solar panels anymore after doing the installation. If you do not have your strings of solar panels properly locked in this way, what essentially happens is that sometimes you could have the wind blow and the wires get disentangled or they get disconnected. And when it gets disentangled or disconnected, you could have a whole string of 3 solar panels. You could have as much as 6, 9, depending on how big the installation is, completely disconnected and no longer contributing energy to the system. That is terrible. You shouldn't do that, all right? Always ensure you use the MC4 connector. That's what it's meant for, to properly string together, all right, your solar panel connections, to ensure it's properly locked in, to ensure you don't lose any form of energy, to ensure that you harvest your full value of installation. Okay, so if you have a 5 kilowatt, it should at least be able to hit close to it, because everything that is supposed to be done in terms of ensuring that you have a proper connection and having the MC4 connector properly locking in your connection is done. So always ensure that you use your MC4 connector. It's a very beautiful component, and it pretty much plays a very important role in ensuring that your constant supply of energy is supplied through the solar panel non-stop, not disconnected, not heating up, not leaking current, just keeping the flow of energy coming. All right, everybody, that's the very much we can. Thank you so much for being part of it. If you haven't subscribed, take your time to subscribe, all right? And this time around, nobody's going to tell you what's going on in and around the world of solar technology. And besides, you are welcome. Don't forget to comment, don't forget to share, and do not forget to like, all right? So if there's something you're finding very difficult to figure out, something you want us to talk about, just leave a comment below. I will definitely attend to it, and you never know, I could do a full video so that you fully understand what exactly your challenge is, all right? Because everything about solar installation and inverter installations is what we do here. Thank you guys so much. Be part of it always, and see you guys in the next one.